What do you do in a society when the systems of accountability need to be held to account? In other words, what do you do when the law enforcers are themselves corrupt? We hear a lot today about two-tiered system of justice. Well, if you ever look at the world and the chaos and the confusion and you're like, who's going to resolve all this? Well, hang with me because we're going to get to that. We are in store for a great journey. We are starting Psalm 82. I'm Cary. This is the Growing in the Gospel YouTube channel. And I'm so glad you've joined me right now. Click subscribe and think of some friends you can share this channel with. Every day for between 10 and 15 minutes, we open God's Word. Right now, we're slow walking through the Psalms. And we are growing line by line, word by word, phrase by phrase. We're asking God to show us himself in the Psalms. The Psalms are God's medicine chest for the human heart. They teach us how to process every possible human emotion. So now is the time to get in on this channel and to share it with others who can benefit and take the growing journey with me. I'm really glad you're joining me. I am really nothing more than a growing follower of Jesus Christ. And I love people. I love to help people grow. I love growing and following Jesus. I love Jesus. I love truth. I love his word. And so that's what we do here on this channel. So today we are really we're starting a new week, but we're turning into a new psalm. We finished up Psalm 81. We're pressing ahead into Psalm 82. It's just 8 verses. I don't know, maybe we'll be in this psalm 3 days. Maybe we'll be here all week. We'll see how our time together unfolds. First, I want to tell you about this past week, and I just want to share a bit of testimony. Last week, I pre-recorded, and that's because on Monday, my son and I, Larry, we got on a plane and we flew to Guatemala, and we visited my brother's work there, Mark, and his wife lead a ministry called Deep Stream. And it is a beautiful, wonderful work of God in the mountains of Guatemala, up above Guatemala City, 7,000 feet altitude. It's an impoverished village called Buena Vista, right outside of the city of Magdalena, about 25 minutes outside of the city of Antigua. It is about 5,000 people living in just the most abject poverty that you have ever seen. It's hard to describe until you see it and understand, and it's just heartbreaking to see. But what God's done there in the last 13 years is absolutely miraculous. A beautiful 3-story school that's kind of a holistic treatment of the human being. It's spiritual, teaching kids the gospel and their families, teaching them the Bible, giving them then education, giving them nutrition, helping literally to just get them on their feet in life in every way, spiritually, emotionally, relationally, physically. 350 kids every day walking through those gates and growing in God's grace. And we got to stay there for 2.5 days. We were without power most of the time because there was major storms that came through and knocked it out. But it was so, so good to see the work of God and that we're investing into through our church at Emmanuel. And then we were able to get on a plane on Wednesday and fly to Honduras and visit. We flew into San Pedro Sula and we drove to El Progreso with Dr. Don Sisk. We were able to visit Matt and Delita Goins. The Goins pastor Iglesia Bautista El Faro, which means Lighthouse Baptist Church. They also have a children's home and a surgical center. It is a vast campus. It is beautiful and very similar situation, working in a developing country, preaching the gospel, ministering to the whole needs of people. But Matt and Delita recently lost their son, Jaden. He was taken as a young college student to heaven. Tragically, very suddenly, God took him. But the Goins, we went down really for one reason, and that was just to bless them, just to encourage them, just for a day and a half to try to love them and lift them up. And so it was a wonderful time. I'm so thankful for these friends, for their faithfulness. You pray for them in their time of grief. And then thirdly, I think I just want to mention that our pastor, children's pastor at Emmanuel, Sherwin Santiago, he lost his mom this week. She went home to heaven. So you pray for this Santiago family. Well, thank you for indulging me just for a few minutes and sharing a little bit of my week. My heart was so full returning home. And then God gave us a fantastic weekend at Emmanuel in spite of some clouds and rain and thunderstorms. And our church family kind of spread all over the place, taking trips and vacations and summer breaks and different things. Some of our staff as well. With our time remaining, we are in Psalm 82. And I asked you at the beginning of the broadcast, what do you do when the systems of accountability themselves need to be held to account? Well, we live in a world that basically God has been eradicated, hasn't he? I mean, he's been removed from society virtually. And there was a day, the Judeo-Christian value system, it's ironic that the woke world has to use Judeo-Christian values to try to eradicate the world of Judeo-Christian values. It's amazing. But they're claiming moral superiority. They claim moral absolutes. They claim absolute truth. And then they want to enforce that. So they claim authority. But they deny the source, the ultimate source of authority. They deny the ultimate source of goodness. They deny the ultimate arbiter of morality. They deny the existence of God, and therefore they deny the existence of any kind of ultimate or final accountability or judgment. And so we are left in a world where government is God. Government is the top of the food chain in terms of accountability. So when government goes bad, when world leadership goes bad, when the system itself becomes corrupt, then what hope? When justice has fallen into the streets, what hope do people have? We're beginning to experience this in America, but it's nothing foreign to really the rest of the world. And throughout the history of humanity, and especially ancient Israel, they were very accustomed to corrupt judges and corrupt systems that oppressed them and by which they were victimized constantly. They just existed in this state of victimization. And so Psalms or realities, truths I should say, like that which is unfolded in the Psalm that we're going to study this week, they were sources of great hope. So ahead in the coming days, we're going to be talking about really big themes of judgment and justice and God being the final judge. And these are kind of daunting realities and they're hard to wrestle with. But here's the thesis of this study in the coming days. By the time we're done, you're going to understand that judgment is a very good thing. That we all are crying out for justice. We're all crying out for judgment. And at the same time, we all don't want justice and we don't want judgment. And we're a little bit dichotomous in that. In our own minds and hearts, there's a paradox brewing within us that we're going to unpack this week, because this is a psalm that talks about judgment. It talks about a judge. It talks about final and ultimate judgment and accountability in really big terms. And frankly, some phrases in the psalm that are kind of hard to wrap your heart and mind around, but we're going to do that. I hope you'll journey with me all week. But in the end, position a psalm of great hope, a psalm of great strength. And a psalm that's going to breathe life into your heart. That the final word is not the woke culture. The final word is not a God-denying government. The final word is not a new world order or a global system. The final word is the ultimate authority of the universe. So let's take a look at it. We'll read it, and I will wrap up for today. Our custom is in the past has been that we read the psalm, we kind of lay out the big themes, and then we meditate on it, and then we come back at it one day at a time, phrase by phrase. So Psalm 82, the title is A Psalm of Asaph. And it says, God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods, little g gods. How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the land or the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all the nations. Now, I warned you, there's some big themes in here. Let me just tickle it for a minute. Let me just tease your inquisitive heart and spirit. God stands in the congregation of the mighty and judges among the gods. Who's he talking about? What's he talking about? Then he talks about delivering the poor and doing justice. And they know not, neither understand they. Is he talking about the judges, or is he talking about those they're judging or not judging? And then this strange phrase that Jesus also quotes in John, I think John 12. God says, I have said, ye or you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. What does this mean? God says you are gods. And Jesus said the same thing. You are gods. These are big questions. They're big truths, big realities. But then he says they'll die, they'll fall. And then this final verse 8, arise, O God, and judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit the nations. Oh, friend, this is going to be a great journey this week. Are you concerned about the state of the world? Are you concerned about the state of nations? Are you concerned about wars and rumors of wars and all of the things that are in play and all the news stream of fearful, dire predictions? Well, this psalm is going to give us hope. It's going to teach us about judgment. It's going to teach us who these people or these beings are called gods that God is talking to. So this is Psalm 82. This is Growing in the Gospel. This is where we're going this week, and I invite you to take the journey. So for now, maybe reread it, maybe replay it, but think on these things, and we'll pick it up here tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe, share, post a comment, post a question down below. I'm enjoying responding to you and getting to know the community that God is forming, and we're off and running on a great journey. Don't forget to look out later today for the done videos. I think chapter 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 go live this week, and you'll find those in the feed, and you'll also find them on their own playlist. Great way to share the gospel. Pray that God will use it. I'm praying for you and hope you have a great day.